Yes, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to live coverage of the Daniel Ricciardo series. We've had the heat races for the 125, we've had the heat races for the 62. It is now time for the heat race for the DRS 100, the drivers lining themselves up ready for the rolling start. Here we go, and we are off then in the DRS 100 final. Out in front, it is Callum Gunning at the moment. But we know just how quickly things can change in the DRS series. We've seen some fantastic racing, and I'm sure we're going to see some more. It is Dylan Reed out in front, ahead then of Callum Gunning, but it is a false start, so the driver's being slowed down, and they are going to have to restart. Here we go then, and we are off in the DRS 100 final. And it is a straight drag race to that first corner. And getting out in front at the moment, it looks like it is Callum Gunning. We will have classification after the first lap, but it is indeed Gunning that leads, ahead then of Dylan Reed. 8 minutes on the clock. Who will end up fastest? Who will end up first? We will find out in the DRS 100 heat race ahead then of the pre-Grand Prix, and of course the Grand Prix, which follows a little bit later this afternoon. But opening up a bit of a gap, it is Callum Gunning out in front at the moment, followed not too far off by Dylan Reed. Harry Graham in third place with Harvey in fourth. 25 karts out on track. We saw some absolutely superb qualifying a little bit earlier. And we spoke to Dylan Reed about how he was feeling heading into this race. He was feeling very confident, very pleased to have got such a quick qualifying time. But it is Gunning who leads then, ahead of Reed, with Graham in third place and Harvey in fourth. 25 karts out on track. Who will get warmed up quickest? Who will start the race well? At the moment, it is Gunning who has nearly a second lead over Reed in second place. So just over 6 minutes left on the clock. Still Gunning controlling the pace out front in these DRS 100 karts. And Graham trying to make his way through the field, the reigning champion from last season in kart number 1. So the gap between Gunning and Reed is still 0.8 of a second. And you see the drivers dipping their heads down, trying to cut back on the tailwind and trying to get as much pace as they can heading down that straight into the first corner. It is reasonably windy out there today. Any little difference, any 1/10 of a second that you can make up really does make the difference when there's 25 karts on track, believe you me. Brewer's trying to get past Vincent for 11th position. Out there is a brilliant 15th place. A nice little midfield battle going on here. Oh, and there's a kart that's gone off there. It's 134. 134 has gone off the track, which is Cody Eustace. So we'll see what's, try and find out what's happened there. Eustace going into the barriers. Out in front, it is still Gunning. Coming into your shot now is our race leader, kart number 2. Dylan Reid holding off the advances of Harry Graham at the moment. Harry Graham, the reigning world champion last season. So Gunning with a healthy lead. Reid under not too much pressure from Graham at the moment, with Harvey in 4th place, Taylor in 5th, and Cunliffe in 6th. Oh, a big slide there by Reid, allowing Graham to perhaps close that gap a little bit. Completing his 7th lap, it is Callum Gunning, ahead then of Reid, who is ahead of Graham. Into the final 3 minutes then of this race. We'll of course have the extra lap on the end as well. And it looked like someone went into the pits then. Graham under a bit of pressure from Harvey now. Harvey all over the back of Graham. Which has allowed Reid a bit of space, once again drifting around that penultimate corner. Here we can see then Thomas Harvey putting our reigning world champion under a bit of pressure here. Out in front though, it is Gunning who has controlled the pace from start to finish. In 2nd place is Reid, in 3rd place is Graham. In 4th place, Harvey putting Graham under a bit of pressure, but Graham puts in the fastest lap of the race so far, 35.539, his fastest lap of the race, should I say. The difference between Gunning and Reid is slightly less, 6/66 of a second. Is Reid going to start closing in then on Gunning? We are running out of time if he intends to do so. This is the battle then for 10th place. Currently Brewered ahead of that chasing pack. The gap between 1st and 2nd back to 0.7, so Gunning managing that gap nicely. Again, you see the drivers just ducking out of that tailwind. This is the battle for 10th place. Currently Justin Brewered being chased down by Davison. Has Davison got enough to try and get past here? I don't think so. Into the last minutes. It is still Gunning that leads over Reid. Someone going wide there. And that was car 101, which is really this is the top 4 drivers, and that gap between Reid and Gunning looks to have closed down a little bit as we enter the final lap. It is Gunning out in front at the moment. I think that gap is big enough to not cause any real problems on this final lap. Reid in 2nd place with Graham in 3rd, Harvey in 4th place and Taylor in 5th. But it is Gunning who starts the final lap out in the lead, with Reid coming close behind him. There's been a nice battle between Harvey and Graham. Will it come to a conclusion on this final lap? First, second, third and fourth have been fairly straightforward to call throughout the course of this race, but we are approaching the final couple of corners, and that there is an overtake for position. I think we'll have a look to see how that is. Meanwhile, here you can see Graham, who has, well, lots going on in this final lap, but it is indeed Callum Gunning who takes the race victory, ahead then of Reid. Graham in the end coming home in third position, with Harvey back in fourth, Taylor in fifth. So that then concludes the opening heats. The first round of races are done and dusted. We will have a short break for lunch before the DRS 125 pre-Grand Prix gets us back underway in a short while's time. But for now, that is the end of our coverage. We will see you soon for more exciting Daniel Ricciardo Series racing action.